Hi everybody, welcome to an episode of the Garden Girl. Well, by the time you're seeing this, this is going to be heading into September. And I know a lot of you guys had asked me before about the canning, because I do a lot of canning, do the canning competitions, everything else. So, and I didn't get to it last year, but we are this year. So today you are going to learn, and I want you 20-somethings out there to use this and do this, because it's really, really easy. I'm going to show you how to make it really easy. So you're going to need a pen and paper, because I'm going to give you a grocery list that you're going to need certain supplies and stuff for. But once you have them, it's done. And then we're going to go into how to prep for the tomato juice and how to also use the other stuff for spaghetti sauce. So we're going to get into two different things that you can do with your tomatoes and your peppers and everything else that you've been growing in the garden. Also, real quick, do not forget, since this is hedging like right before Labor Day, this episode here, you know, everybody needs to get over to my Facebook page and like your favorite picture. We still have all the entries in for the summer contest, and I want to make sure that all of our gardeners get as much, you know, likes as they can so that the best man wins. So please make it over, take 5 minutes out, go over to my Garden Girl page and click like. All you have to do is just like the photo. You don't even have to comment or anything. It's that simple. So remember, get over there and do that before Labor Day. And we will announce our winner on the next episode after Labor Day. So, pen and paper, stay tuned, grab something to drink, and we will be right back.
Brilliantly practical scientist Harriet Tuttle's search for a more efficient life concluded with an unorthodox solution. Harriet created 4 more Harriets. Together they were a model of efficiency. However, while identical, they had their own interests and their own retirement plans, each customized with a Raymond James financial advisor, allowing them to enjoy life separately and together. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
I love the farmer's market because I love knowing where my food comes from. I love that it comes from someplace close to home and it didn't travel far to get here. And I love that they have fair prices and everything is always delicious because it's so fresh. And I invite everyone to come experience the market for themselves and find out why they love the market. Wednesdays from 3 to 7 at the fairgrounds in Dover.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Well, you need certain supplies and a grocery list. Obviously, you have to can. There's pressure canning and there's water bath canning. Pressure canning can really get dangerous, so I don't like danger that much. So I do the water bath canning, and it's very safe, it's very easy, and all you need to do, for starters, you have to make sure, obviously most people have saucepans and tongs and knives because you got to core out the tomatoes and everything. You have to have rims that you keep for, year to year for your jars. You also need, right down here, a funnel, because these are what's going to fill either your pints or your quarts. There's 2 different sizes, and you can even get the half pints, but honestly, I mean, besides for jellies and stuff, we don't use anything. And frankly, we like to use, Dad especially likes to use the pints for the tomato juice, because once you open it, unless you really guzzle down tomato juice a lot, we like to use the pints for the tomato juice. Now, when I have my parties and everything, I make a killer Bloody Mary mix that everybody really likes, and I use the quarts because when you're making, by the time I open this up, I'm lucky if I'm getting 3 out of there. So if you have a handful of people over, those are going to go pretty quick. So I tend to can my Bloody Mary mix in the quarts. But you need the funnel, because when you try pouring boiling hot out of the saucepan when it's done cooking and everything, and you're trying to pour it in there, good luck. You need the funnels. The next thing you're gonna need is a stock pot. This is a 12-quart stock pot. You know, unless you are serving up for an army, you know, you don't need one bigger than this. You will, however, need the big guy, which it's larger than this. You will need that for this guy right here. This fun little contraption is what you're gonna put your jars in. And this actually hooks on the side of the stock pot. And you're gonna need a larger one for it. And it, honestly, you can go to the stores, they have kits that will give you everything you need, like the jar holder and everything. But this is where you're gonna set your jars down in and slowly lower them into the water for 45 minutes to an hour. So, gotta have one of those. So you need 2 stock pots, one to cook in and one to can in. Next up, when it comes to tomatoes, you have to have the canning and pickling salt. That's the other thing. It's salt, but it's not table salt. So one of these, they're cheap. They'll last you forever. You see how we keep ours sealed up from year to year. It keeps the humidity out. The other thing you will need, I guarantee, no matter what recipe you pull, and there's tons of good recipes out there, get yourself some lemon juice. It's acidic. It's something that has to go in many of the recipes, and you're going to see it called for. So you might as well grab that. And then obviously you're going to need the usual, you know, your measuring spoons, your cups, everything else. Now this mallet looking contraption behind me, I've already started. Me and Dad have been at this for a couple hours now today. This is another, if you're going to do juices and Bloody Mary mixes, you're going to need this. And what it is, it's a stand with a strainer. I know it looks so gross. And you're going to see pulp in here. And underneath, you can see this, you know, my red bowl. Well, in there is the juice, because all you do is hang on to this guy and you're swirling it around. But if you're, like I said, if you're doing juices and stuff, you have to have it. And then obviously, last but not least, you need a lot of bowls. You know, you're going to go through them between when you have to soak these. And again, this is if you're doing juices or if you're doing whole tomatoes and you're taking the skins off. You're going to need a bowl for the ice water, which this is mine here, right behind me. You have to have one of your pots, not your stock pot, but a regular, nice big pot that you're going to drop the tomatoes down in the boiling water, which we do have stills. I'm going to show you some stills that goes step by step, so you'll see how we do it. But the ice water, and then another bowl to transfer it in so that I can cut them, throw them in here, and smush them up. Honestly, you don't need this unless you're doing that, because in my spaghetti sauce and stuff, I do not take the skins off. That's where your vitamins and stuff are, and your good stuff. So I leave everything on, and in my salsa. So okay, so write all that down. Remember all this stuff that I gave you, because your lids, and also I talked about the rims here. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself here a little. You have to have the rims, but you're gonna see lids in here. And again, if you're just starting out, they have them in packs where, you know, you can buy a dozen, say, pints, and you can buy packs where there's a dozen rims and a dozen lids. Always use new lids. If you already have jars that maybe your friend gave you, go to the store, get the rims and the lids. If you have the rims, still go get new lids every time you can. Cheap, again, it's very cheap. And once the investment's there, it's done. So stay tuned. When we come right back, I'm going to take you through some of the steps we do to get the canning process all raring to go now that we have all of our supplies.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we
Hi everybody, welcome back to my lovely messy kitchen today, because it always looks like a bomb went off in here on days like this. Okay, so some of you guys may have a question. Well, I grew this kind of tomato and I grew cherry tomatoes. How are we supposed to do this? Okay, certain tomatoes are better, and this is why I always try to explain. Certain tomatoes are better for the basis of your spaghetti sauce, your salsa, your juices. The bigger the tomato, the better. This is a skinned big beef. You can see it holds, it's so uniform. These peel great, because remember, if you're doing juices, you got to peel them. So I like my big beefs. You get a lot of juice out of them. You keep your hands washed, obviously. Throw it down in here. This gets smushed. Well, what other ones? You can do any type of beefsteak, but you got to get the skin off. And that's the stills that I'm going to pop up here on the screen. But do not, when you core these out, which you're going to see a picture of my dad coring, once you core these out and you get a good rolling boil in one of your pots, you've got to drop them in. Okay, learn from my biggest mistake. Don't just drop them in. These are your best friend, and you've got to make sure you set them down in, because I've burnt myself a million times. I'm an idiot. I've burnt myself a million times. And you're going to need these to get them out, because you're going to throw them down in the boiling water. Okay, Heather, how long do you leave them in the boiling water? Well, you got to look, because a lot of times, honestly, I find like the heirlooms and the bigger ones tend to take a little bit longer, like a couple minutes, until you start seeing the skin split on them to where you can peel it off. That's where the next picture comes in, which is the ice. You need the ice with a little bit of water in there, because when you pull them out with the tongs, you need to drop them right over in the ice water, because that's where it's going to cool them. You can get in there, peel them, and then that's where you need the other bucket. Sorry, bucket, bowl. You can tell I've been out in the garden too long. Or this one, because once they're peeled at this point, this is where they go in for the juice. So it's that simple. Honestly, man, it's that simple. You core them, drop them in the boiling water. As soon as you see the skin start to split and peel away, throw it in the ice water, peel them off, in here, in here. Then you smush. Well, what about your cherry tomatoes? Right. I mean, I would go insane. And you can't do it. I mean, honestly, when it comes to your Romas and your cherry tomatoes, right here is your spaghetti sauce. Right here is your stuff for salsa. You know, these, your Amish paste, San Marzanos, those all go in a beautiful little doohickey, a word processor. Yeah, we're gonna process words. Food processor, or even a blender. I mean, the first year I used a blender, but that's where you're gonna clean them all, toss them in there, toss them in the food processor, and then they'll go straight over into the stock pot to cook. Now, here's how we don't waste, and this is how you can utilize everything. Okay, so we're smushing it up, and that's all you do. You just literally, you'll see the juice come down off the sides here, and it sounds like a kid jumping around in a pig mud pit, but all you're gonna do is get all this pulp as smushed as you can. This prevents the seeds and any of the skin, so you're basically getting a cleaner juice. Can you run it through a smaller sieve again? Sure, you can. I mean, if you really are in particular and you want to make sure there's 0 seeds in it, that's fine. Now remember, like I told you guys, when I do the spaghetti sauce, just the spaghetti sauce, everything goes in there. Cleaned, everything goes in there. Now, say I have all my juice out of here, all right? I've got to wiggle this thing out, tap it off. All this is now going into here. Now, have I even put it on the oven yet? No. And if you're doing spaghetti, how long is it going to take? Depends. Depends how thick you want it. Honestly, we're filming. It's in the afternoon right now. I will probably be canning my last batch at 10 o'clock tonight. Some people leave it on 6 hours. Some leave it on from morning to night. But it depends on your thickness. Any type of little, the little scar heels, these you can pick off, throw out. But it makes it a lot easier. If you tear these, like I said, if you tear these guys apart, get your hands in there and get dirty, it's like the best you're going to feel like a little kid again. But I continue to do that until I'm ready to put everything on the stove. Now, once this gets full, I pick the whole kit and caboodle up. And as you can see there's a little bit of foam. That's normal. Doesn't mean there's anything in there. You left dish soap in the, doesn't mean you left dish soap in it or anything. This is going to go directly over there and get poured into the big stock pot. We have a bigger one because Dad is doing way more. We're doing 40 pints of it. Plus I need my Bloody Mary mix for my buds. So, that will continually get dumped. And then we come back here, do the same thing, dump, throw the pulp in there. It really is that simple. It's not bad at all. And this is where once you get everything done, say you're done, and everything's on the stove, now then you can start cooking. How do you cook it? Okay, be careful. You don't want to put it on high. I mean, you're trying to evaporate the juice out to your desired thickness. Some people like juice really thin, so it may only be on the stove a half hour. My dad likes it a little thicker. I like it a little thicker. You guys that drink Bloody Marys or V8 juice know it's a little thicker. So you're going to have to stir, and you don't want to burn it, so don't put it on high. Put it on maybe a medium to medium high, like a 5, 6, 7, and just let the steam, let it evaporate off and let it cook, what we call in the terms cook down. So you're just going to let it cook down, keep checking it, keep stirring it. That is where, and I'm not giving up all my goods here, but if you're going to do some as V8 juice or Bloody Mary, you're going to have to separate and get your tomato juice. However many straight tomato juice you want, that's where you're going to have to jump ahead and fill those. Once it's all cooked down to the right consistency, you're going to want to fill those first. Then you're going to have to add in your spices and stuff, which a lot of people put in garlic salt. You're going to put in a couple tablespoons of lemon juice to all of it, but you can put in an extra one with the Bloody Mary mix. You might put in some pickle juice, maybe some olive juice. I'm just throwing things out there. I know with mine, all those things I just said, I do throw in mine. And everybody says, well, how much do you throw in? One, that's my secret. And that's what makes it fun. But two, you guys might like it different than what me and my friends do. So you just got to taste test. You're going to taste test the whole way through. Okay, stay tuned. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to get your jars ready while all this stuff's cooking and you're all done cleaned up. I'm going to show you how to prep your jars so that you're good to go and you know what you're doing and nobody's, all your lids are going to go pop and everything's going to end up perfect. Stay tuned. We are going to be right back.
Hi, I'm TV2 Sports Talk's Bill Morgan. Some people are outstanding at playing sports, and then there's me. While we at TV2 Sports Talk may have never been All-State on the field, we are Tuscarawas County's MVP when it comes to local television sports talk and play-by-play. Catch TV2 Sports Talk Wednesday nights at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 on DMG Channel 2.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Another thing I wanted to mention is you'll notice my hair is pulled up in a clippy. For you girls that shed a lot like I do or have long hair, keep your hair back because there is nothing grosser than finding a hair in food. So keep it back. Again, it's about being clean and hygienic. Okay, so now everything's cooked down. Spaghetti sauce is ready, your Bloody Mary is ready, everything's ready. Okay, mind you, with the Bloody Mary mix, do not add the vodka. This is the mix. You will add the vodka when you make them next July. What you need now is you need all your jars. So you got to have your jars ready to go. A lot of times what we will do while that is cooking, we will go through and it's a half a teaspoon in the pints. You're going to put a half a teaspoon of that canning salt that I was telling you about. Then you can just line them up. I mean, don't put the rims on, nothing. Because at that point, you're just getting the salt in these clean jars. And this is where your little saucepan's gonna come in handy. If you look in here, I have a bunch of lids. I'm nowhere near, technically, like I said, I'm nowhere near ready to boil these lids. These lids, and this is how they seal. These lids have this orange, rubbery material that you can see around the rim. You need to fill up a little saucepan like this and bring it to a boil with water, obviously. And you're going to drop these down in. Now you don't have to boil them for long. You just bring it to a boil, drop your pack of lids in for like, I don't even know, 30 seconds, a minute. All you're trying to do is to get this warm and to get the rubber soft. Because as soon as that's done, and you might as well do it when everything's done and you've already cut the heat off to your juice and your sauce. You're going to need your tongs because you want to talk about hot. Oh boy, oh boy. All you're going to do is get in here and you're going to pick one up and put it on top once it's filled. So, again, get all the salt, just line them up, get all the salt in all your jars. Drop a funnel down on the first one. Bring your lids to a boil. While you're doing that, you can start grabbing your juice or your Bloody Mary mix, V8 juice, whatever you're making, or your whole tomatoes even, if you're packing whole tomatoes. You're going to start filling them up. How far should you fill them up? Easy. You don't want to bring them up. See how this funnel drops down in? That's where you want it at. You want it right at the bottom of the neckline. It does have to have some room. It really does have to have some room in there. It will vacuum pop. You'll hear them pop. It's like ting, 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 ting when you take them all out. They will start doing it. But keep it down below the ridge. You want at least a ½ inch of what they call head space. But I say just go bottom of the funnel. So you're going to fill them all up. Boom, boom, boom. Once they're filled, this is where you grab this guy. You're going to set it right on top as best as possible. Jiggle it on. Now your rim. Last but not least, your rim. Get it on there. Oh, and you may need a glove because when you pour this stuff in, it's hot. Sometimes I even do. You want to tighten this down until it's tight. Now, do not use a vice grip. Do not use anything. Hand tight, but tight. Because you're going to check them again. When you get them out of the canning bath, you're going to want to check them again. Now, they're all hand tightened. They're ready to go in. 45 minutes. This is the big stock pot. Let me move this so you can see. This is our big stock pot. And what we do in our cage, when they're all ready to go, we set them in here, okay? Dad will set them in. This will already be on the stove with boiling water. I mean boiling water. It has to be at a rolling boil, and it has to cover the tops. So we bring this at a rolling boil. So yes, are you gonna have a lot of electricity or gas going out? Are you gonna have the oven getting a workout? Oh, absolutely. You're gonna take it, you're gonna set it down in. Again, you may need gloves, and you're gonna put the lid on that comes with it. Time it, 45 minutes. That's it. Once that timer goes off, take your lid off, get your tongs, because you're gonna have to pull these guys back up, and it can be a son of a gun. But you gotta get them back up so you can get your gloves on and lift these back out at least like that. Because then you're gonna take your jar holder, because those usually come in the kits too. There's a jar grabber that you can get, and it'll grab it, and you're gonna carefully set them down somewhere. I don't care where, but somewhere where you can let them sit for like 24 hours. Because that's what we do. They need to sit, they need to cool, and you need to hear the ping, ping, pop, 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 pop. That seriously is it. I mean, that's it. So besides cooking your stuff, this is all you have to do the water bath canning. It really is that easy. And, you know, if you have a day, and honestly, if you have another person to help you, it makes it a lot smoother if you're doing the juices. Because of the skinning and the smushing, everything else that we do, it does make it a lot easier. That's why me and Dad tag team on the canning a lot with this. But once it's just me with the salsa or me doing spaghetti sauce, that I can do by myself. I can start in at 8 in the morning and do that by myself. So those two you can take on. Or whole tomatoes. You know, whole tomatoes are a little bit easier because you're not having to smush them up. You're just layering that jar, again, up to the neck. Don't put them clear to the top. You've got to have that neck space. And that's it. That's all I do. And you can have fun with it. I change stuff every year. I add stuff, try different things, try new recipes. I know last year we tried the corn in the salsa. Came out great. So look online. That's what Pinterest and Google and all these great places are for. You can get some really good ideas for recipes and everything. But I hope that kind of makes it a little bit easier for you as far as what you need supply-wise, what type of tomatoes are good for what, and how we use them, and really how easy and cheap it is. You don't have to do a pressure cooker and spend hundreds of dollars on this stuff. So I really enjoyed you guys watching this, and I enjoyed doing this episode because this is something that obviously I look forward to every year. So don't forget to go vote. Stay tuned. We are going to have another special guest, and we're going to be checking back on our cutting project and seeing how you guys are doing with that. And there's lots of good stuff yet to come because, hey, it's still 80 degrees outside. It's summer.